Booktube, my name is Danica and today I have a tag video for you. So one of the suggestions on my giveaway video was to do the book lovers tag, so I'm going to do that one today. The first question is, do you remember how you developed a love for reading? Sorry, my neighbor is mowing the lawn. I hope you can't hear that. I don't really remember when I developed a love for reading because as far as I can tell, I always loved to read. Second question is, where do you usually read? I prefer to read on the bus. I used to, when I was going to school and working, I would do almost all my reading on the bus because it was pretty much an hour there and back. So it was a ton of reading time, and once I stopped going to school, I actually had to really adjust to being able to fit my reading in other places. So now I listen to audiobooks when I walk to and from work, and I read at home, but I find it the easiest to read on the bus because there's nothing else to do and I don't get motion sick. Do I prefer to read more than one book at a time or just one? I usually read one book at a time. I always worry that I'm going to get them confused or that I'm going to start liking a book a lot better and then just abandon the other one. Next question is, what is your favorite genre? I read a lot of lesbian books, obviously. It's not really a genre as much as it is a character preference, I guess. For genre, it would probably just be fiction. I read quite a few different genres because of writing for the Lesbury and reading all kinds of lesbian books. So on to the next one, what genre won't I read? I usually would stay away from romance books, but now I've been reading lesbian romance books, and I didn't read a lot of mysteries, but then I've read a couple of lesbian mysteries, so now there aren't really a lot of genres that I don't read, other than straight romances. I can't do it. The next question is, do you have a favorite book? And it's sort of tied between two Sarah Waters books, but if I had to choose, I'd probably go with Tipping the Velvet by Sarah Waters, just because it's like kind of a personal book to me. I read it at just the right time in my life, I think, and it meant a lot to me, and it's just really entertaining and fun, and I love Sarah Waters' writing style, so I should reread this soon. The next question is, what is the worst book you've ever read? I remember I read this book, and it was called Your Call is Important to Us, The Truth About Bullshit, and I remember loathing that book, and I have no idea why anymore. I just remember reading it and being so angry. Other than that, I have no recollection of it, so that's probably unfair. I read this one book that I spent the entire book, because I had promised to review it, I spent the entire book just looking for one positive thing to say, just one nice thing that I could say to cushion the criticisms I had for it, and it took me like the entire novel. I don't really want to say which novel it was because I feel like that's kind of mean. It was like a self-published author, but oh, I struggled with that book. That's probably my least favorite book that I can remember. And then, what is the biggest book you've ever read? I'm pretty sure it's Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, which is just over 1,000 pages. And the next question is, what is the last book you bought? Which is actually a really hard question for me because most of the books I get I don't buy. I get free for review, or I trade in books for other books at a bookstore, or I get books from the library, so I don't actually buy a lot of books. I think the last time I actually bought a book was when I was on vacation in July. I went to Portland, I went to Powell's, and I bought a whole bunch of books at once, but the last one that I entered into my Goodreads was Crashing America by Katya Noyes, which is like a teen lesbian road trip book, so I guess I'll count that one. And then, do you prefer library books or buying books? And that really depends, because if it's a book that I don't like that much, I would much rather have it be a library book. But if it's a book that I love and I want to reread, then I really want to own it. So a lot of the times I think I will get this from the library, and then if I like it, I'll buy it new, and then I'll be supporting the author, and then I can reread it if I want to. And then, what are you reading right now? I actually just finished a book, and I'm just starting a book called The Hell of Osirik, which is another book for review, but I have really just read about a sentence of it so far. And the last question is, what are the disadvantages of being a book lover? And I have to say, by far, the main disadvantage is moving, because I swear I will not move just because of how many books I have and how hard it is to pack them all up and move them. I don't spend a lot of money on books, but I acquire a lot of books, and I have, like, since I was a teenager, I've managed to just acquire books even if I'm not spending money. They want to come home with me. What can I do? Alright, so that was the Book Lovers Survey tag, and thanks for watching.